and here is another series of what's in this.
What's in this?
Yeah, went to the health food store the other day and found this. Kefir. So, Steph, what's in this?
Well, if you watch The Archers, listen to The Archers on Radio 4, you'll know all about kefir because they've been making it on The Archers. Kefir is a very ancient fermented milk drink. It sort of has tinges of yogurt, so people sort of equate it with a yogurty drink, but it really isn't yogurt. It starts off as milk, and ideally any dairy product, as far as I'm concerned, should be organic. And then you can turn it into this thing called kefir by putting in a starter culture, so kind of like a yogurt, but different cultures.
They've got a funny name. What are they called?
Kefir grains.
But you told me a name for the culture.
Oh, no, that's a SCOBY.
Oh, what's that?
A SCOBY is a symbiotic combination of bacteria and yeast. So SCOBYs are the starter culture for all sorts of different fermented foods. So there are lots of different SCOBYs. Now the SCOBY, funnily enough, you mentioned this, you didn't know I was doing this. The SCOBY for dairy kefir is called dairy kefir grains. And I've got some making here. So this sort of slimy looking cottage cheese are dairy kefir grains. These little guys are living bundles of beneficial yeast and bacteria, and they eat the sugar in milk. Specifically, they eat lactose. And so if you put these into milk, they eat up the sugar, and in the process of eating the sugar, they give off really, really, really beneficial bacteria that's really good for your gut, that then is good for your digestive system and your immune system and your brain health. So this is a pretty phenomenal food, and a complex food, and a very healing food. So I make my own by putting good milk into a jar with my little kefir grains.
So why is the milk kefir you making with this, what's it called, SCOBY? Why does it taste so different to this? Hold on, one more.
Great question. Now this is a slight issue I have with commercially available kefir. I'm thrilled it's on the market. It's a new product to market. It's only been available for the last couple of years. It's allowing people to have a much more complex range of bacteria in their diets. However, traditional kefir is really sour. It's a very sour and slightly fizzy, milky drink. So it's quite unpalatable for a lot of British palates.
I don't mind sour.
But this isn't very sour. This is creamy and delicious. And the reason it's creamy and delicious is because it hasn't been left long enough through the fermentation process for all of the dairy sugars to be eaten up by those little balls of bacteria. So it's a sweeter, creamier product because there's still sweetness left in the milk.
Are they adding anything? Sorry, but are they adding anything?
Adding nothing.
There's no
just
sugar
they haven't
added?
No, there's no sugar added, but there's a lot of sugar in milk, lactose.
What does it say on the label?
It says that per 100 ml we have a heaped teaspoon, 4.6 grams of sugar.
And this is, how much is the whole thing?
500 ml? 250 ml, sorry. 250 ml.
250.
So
okay.
You've got, 2.5 teaspoons. Right. Whereas mine would be way less than a teaspoon.
Okay.
So it's a great way to get good cultures in. It's a sophisticated product. It's going to have a wider range of bacteria as well as a far greater number of bacteria than your standard yogurt. But what you need to look for is that sugar content. And the lower the sugar content, the higher the bacterial load, which is a good thing. Or as I say, you can very easily make it yourself. But yes, we'll do more on that because there's lots of mystery around fermented foods. They are ancient and they are massively beneficial, and we don't do fermented very well in this country other than wine and beer, which is fermented but has limited benefit.
So kefir, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
All the way.
Yeah.